you doing here? I am asking this because you were supposed to come here for the first time tomorrow, after you helped the girl for the first time. Not in the middle of the night like this. This has to be the Oneiromancer's doing. Yes, her master, the Witch of Wires and Strings, has done similar untimely phenomena before. Or perhaps this is the work of the Anadomancer. I do not know what that thing is, and so I do not know what it's capable of. So I believe it is not out of the realm of possibility. Either way, I doubt this changes anything. Yes, you seem completely oblivious to what is happening right now. I am guessing that you will probably just sleep and forget all about this event, and it will all go as planned, as destined. Yes, indeed, my little dragon. You have come a long way since Coldharbour. Well done, by the way, for putting a smile on all the faces of the deceased. And you also got to help the old man stand out along the way. Yes, so very wonderful. But even all of that pales in comparison to your next journey. What journey? The journey of an egg to become a chick, to become, hopefully, the right chicken. Yes, all has already been planned accordingly. So many people, entities, will be in control of your destiny from now on. You will only receive the freedom you knew in Coldharbour again when you enter the Black Fountain. And even then, I doubt you will define that state as that of a free person. Someone who can have a choice and have it be theirs. Hopefully, that person will be you someday. You will have that moment only once, my little dragon. My little prisoner, yes, when you stand upon the blue star. Mnemoli, the orphan of Magnus. I wonder if by the time you make it there, will you remember my kindness? Yes, will you? Will you remember my kindness? What kindness? Well, all of it. We only want to help you grow so you can fulfill your desires. But please, show me something beautiful, like Laza did before you. But I am probably overwhelming you right now, aren't I? Well, since you're here, and since this conversation doesn't matter, you probably have a bunch of questions and images in your head, don't you? So please, ask on. I cannot promise you that I will answer all of your questions, but I will promise you this, that the questions I will answer to the best of my knowledge. So please, ask on. So, you choose to ask what really happened in Coldharbour. Well, nothing really, and that which did happen only really happened because of you. But you seem shocked by this. When you were entering people's dreams and offering them redemption, or when you were slaying people in Coldharbour, like Pelanol, like Sir Casimir, like Melus, what did you think you were doing? Well, do not misunderstand. You were doing a good thing, but still, a good thing can also be meaningless. And making the already dead smile by telling them lies about how their story ended is good, but it is also meaningless. It only helped you in depriving the Lizard King of power. By doing so, you made sure that Stendhal may defeat him in Aetherius, and you can defeat him in his abyss. And finally, end the Bard's dream. Yes, the Bard. What do I know about the Bard? Well, one day, as I was roaming Skyrim, I came across a tree which fascinated me. So I cut a branch off of it and brought it back to my lord's realm. And there I read sweet stories to it, and when it grew enough, I set it free onto the world again, so it can experience it by itself. Yes, I am very kind. Orlando would never understand though. He prefers kittens. Oh well, when my little creation grew, it became a bard who fell in love with LeMay and lost himself in madness after he was devoured by more like Baal. Now he knows nothing of who he is, and even his name is lost. But that does not matter to me. For me, he will forever be my special little branch. Yes, it is a shame that he was so weak in the end. We really could have learned a lot about Molag Bal through him otherwise. What could we learn from Molag Bal? Oh, my little dragon, what do you think Molag Bal is? The Molag Bal of now is nothing but a weak beast of Sithis, furthest from Shazar, nothing but a forgotten sibling. But that was not always the case. In a previous cycle of existence, he was the god king of the Drew. Have you ever seen one of those creatures? Big, crustacean people? Quite hideous, but they used to be so much more than that. They used to rule an entire civilization, and their god king was what is now more like Baal. When their Kalpa ended, they re-emerged in Tamriel, but they are now completely feral. Probably due to their interactions with Father Sithis after the undoing of their Kalpa. And more like Baal, the god king amongst them, was warped by Sithis. You talked with the remnants of the Grey Owl in Coldharbour, did you not? The Wheel to Shazar, that's what he calls it. A black soul is the essence of a man, mare or hist upon death. Those essence seek to return to Shazar who tossed them inside Mundus to begin with, even after death, but most souls get corrupted in the abyss of Father Sithis along the way, like Moloch Ball did, and so he became the foul lizard king you see today. He has lost his carapace, and a child found it, or maybe the child that has his carapace is the child he had with Vivek. Either way, that child now wanders aimlessly inside the Black Fountain, looking for Yelem's library. It wants to learn what it is, but in the process it will go insane. Its power is too great, and the weight of the knowledge is too unbearable. If only we could understand how he did that, to preserve himself and become eternal, to survive the end of time. That's what I was hoping the bard could tell us. Instead, my little branch lost itself when the dragon broke. Unfortunate, but still, it is of little consequence. Even if he hadn't lost himself, it is unlikely that Moloch Ball could remember what happened to him. You saw that for yourself, did you not? In the ape man's dream, you used the eye of Maruk and understood that Moloch Ball was at least once partly mortal, did you not? And what was his response to that? He did not know, and neither do we. If only he did, or if only the Yakutans were here. They too were wiped out, you know, and they too came from a different cycle of creation, but they too are gone now. But I am sure that you will be worth it. That's what your little escapade with Moloch Ball inside Coldharbour was really all about. The Vigilance, LeMay, and Laza's family were all only unfortunate, inconsequential members of the tragedy of Coldharbour. My little dragon, you seem perplexed after all I just told you. Could it be that you understand the world around you so little? Did you understand so little of what Pathanax told you about after you stopped the World Eater? Well then, I shall inform you in his stead. But before I do that, I want to congratulate you, Dovahkiin. For by slaying the World Eater, you prevented the end of the world. Now it will never end, like Akatosh intended. It will live forever, continuing on and on in an infinite spiral of decay, until one day someone takes it out of its misery, or the World Eater appears again. But by then, it will be so rotten that it will be begging to end. But we still owe you our thanks, for you have bought my master some time. Who is my master? Such a strange question coming from you. You've met him before, more than once actually, though I think the interaction you had with him and Mirak in Solstheim might be the one which stick with you the most. I look nothing like him. I am just an offshoot of a woodland man. No seals are perfect, my little chick. But with regards to your confusion about my master's current troubles, what he wants more than anything is to escape this arena. This circle of worlds and times collapsing in on themselves. He wants to escape the dream and dream on his own. But he does not know how. No eadra can know how. Neither do most humans. But a very few select chicks may become chickens, and thus show my master the way out. I believe you know of Hyolte, the man who, along with two other mortal incarnations of Shazar, Zeranactus and Wolfarth, made it and ascended beyond this world. This is what my master wants, to see another Talos, so he can usurp his apotheosis. How many forms of my master are there? Just one. The eadra are different than the eadra in that matter. Yes, sorry if the Toghabar owls and woodland men confused you. We're just servants of his that come with some liberty. However, he is one, no matter what humans think of him, or no matter how many servants he makes. He is one, unlike something like Jhunal and Julianos of the Nine Divines. What is the difference between Jhunal and Julianos? Say, have you ever heard of Yelem's experiment with the Khajiit? Ah, yes. Yelem the Dwemer, another beautiful chick like you, had this experiment where he sealed a khajiit in an airtight box with a small amount of Aetherius, a magical measuring device, and a poisonous gas generator. The odds of the khajiit dying to the poison within 1 hour after it was sealed inside the box, and the odds of the khajiit surviving after an hour, were 50-50. Yet after the hour, the cat exists in a superposition of two states, dead and alive, and the superposition only collapses when we open the box and learn what truly happened to the cat, or when we see the cat's ghost. One subject, malleable to being multiple things that are equally true due to how we comprehend it. Something similar can be said about the Daedra as well. When they listened to Shazar and created the world, a large part of them exists within the world, and thus that part can be molded into that which the world thinks of them. Akatosh is therefore Alkush and Oriel. All names adhere to the same eadra, molded by the creation it helped make and is now a part of. However, after the convention occurred on top of the Tower Zero, the eadra decided what the rules of their creation should be, banished Lorcan the Betrayer, and then escaped to Aetherius before they perished inside their own creation completely. I believe, yes, you, of all people, should know this. You saw Stendhal in Aetherius as well, did you not? That which you saw in Aetherius is what remains of Stendhal after he left Mundus, but a part of his still exists in this world as well. That part can be the Nordic Stone and the Khajiit Srendar, yet those pieces, those comprehensions, still possess similar traits as the Stendhal of the Imperials and the Stendhal in Aetherius. One creature, different states, in different superpositions, based on the rules of the world and your comprehension. Same is the case with Jhunal and Julianus, but the Daedra did not take part in the creation of the world, so they are not split in any way. Does that make sense? I hope it does. What? Am I and the Grey mimicries of Jhunal? Oh, I see. You divinated the future with Pelfit's intestines, did you not? Well, that is fine. Trust me, there were worse options. Mimicry is such a wrong word to use. We do his job, but better. We give lost people what they want, luck and glory. Did my master not help the hangman and Hamah when they needed protection? Did we not show Laza a way to reach his loved ones? And will we not give Jabal his perfect chick he wanted so much? Jhunal the White will have you stagnant, longing and ignorant to the world around you. However, we tell you to give in to your rage and bloodlust, no matter the cost. And in time, you too will ask us to bring back someone you lost, and we will show you the way, and you will walk it the only way you know how to, Dovahkiin. Yes, the same way you walked in coldharbour, by killing and destroying everything around you. The soul of a dragon is a powerful thing, is it not? It clouds your mind, it warps your reality and your actions. Surely you must have understood this by now. Poor Pepe. Even after Laza killed him, even as you were standing before Molakbo's throne, he still begged you to stop and let Laza be the one to finish the deed. Yet you did not listen. You could not listen. Even in the very beginning of this journey, you were completely willing to follow Dano on his path to madness. Dovahkiin, remember this. You cannot do anything else. Just because you kill Alduin does not elevate you from the violent nature the dragons possess. It took Parthenax centuries of meditation to suppress his nature. You, however, still carry Alduin within you. Don't take this as something bad. Rejoice, for that makes you a perfect vessel for the blood curses, because that is exactly what they want. For you to lose yourself in bloodlust, to gain what you want, like the ones before you. And that is why we are not mere mimicries. We are better than the original. We will support you no matter what. He will sooner confine you in the darkness than tell you the awful secret of a failed bloodline. Oh, my little dragon, forgive me. It seems every answer I give you also comes with 10 new questions for you. Sorry, the story leading up to your arrival here has been in the makings for eras at this point. I'm guessing you want a starting point to this entire story. Well, unfortunately, the pieces of this story are so many that I cannot provide them for you in an all encompassing story. What I can do is tell you the story of this place, this Blessed Ravine, and it is a wonderful story in all ways foul. I am sure you will agree after you hear it. This is the story of the Garden of Kine. So I believe you are aware of the towers, right? Well, the Garden of Kine was a structure just like those ones. But unlike the other structures, this one was specifically tied to Kine's existence. Every tower, as you know, has a stone, and the stone in Kine's garden was a fountain, Kine's fountain. Oh, what a wonderful, beautiful fountain it was. People were ordered to stay away from the forest that encircled this garden and inhabit the grasslands and never listen to any owl or woodland man telling them to go inside the forest. The nomads, the people of the grasslands, as they were also known, lived peaceful lives, and upon death they would scatter the ashes of their loved ones outside the forest so that the wind can take them back to Kine and her garden. But my little branch fell in love with a Nereid priestess of Arche, and you know what happened from that point on. The dragon broke, and Moloch Ball, in his attempts to defile Arche, made everything beyond oblivion, as Sheogorath said. Oh, what is Sheogorath's role in all of this? Oh, but surely you must have seen him in the dreams inside Coldharbour too. He is here to enjoy the show. Of course. Yes, what was it that Amicus Thorn said? This world is the product of madness. Therefore, all we need is more madness. Sheogorath is merely being entertained by the insanity. But anyway, after LeMay unleashed herself on the people of the grasslands, only one of them survived. Laza. Oh, for an entire night he would shout onto the sky and curse that monster of Sithis. Then the white owl, Jhunal, appeared before him. The owl told him that he can help him get his revenge by joining the Order of Jigolag, but he may never see his lost ones again. Laza agreed, and that wounded shepherd gained the power to kill even dragons to help the Grey Owl with his experiments. But that was never enough for him, and so he asked the Grey Owl for help, and the Grey Owl looked into his burning eyes, and oh, were his eyes on fire. So he told Laza to blind himself, so that he may not see or be seen by anyone, and then crawl into the forest, listening only to my call, until he finds the Fountain of Kine. When he found the fountain, he also found me, and there I told him to stop the fountain with a dagger that had LeMay's blood on it. And so he did, and when he did, Kine's fountain turned into the Black Fountain, and the blue star then appeared. For a wounded time had opened, and a crater now had taken the place of the garden, a crater which led to the Black Fountain, and that crater's name became Hinnom. After this happened, Akatosh first rushed to try to destroy the abomination that Kine's garden had become. So he sent the Pass of Alduin to corrupt and decay the garden. The Black Pass, Dolakin, is a raw form of Alduin's goal and purpose: to eat everything, not through gluttony, but through slow corruption. However, the situation had gotten out of hand, and the pus began eating everything, even the dragons that guarded the area. Given that Shore was still missing at this time, Kine was without a husband to protect her, so Jhunal was the only deity at the time who both understood the danger and was capable of stopping it, as he was the god of runes and wisdom. So he gathered the daughters of Kine that were looking after Kine's garden when it was still just that, and together they sealed the place with his runes. After that, the remaining daughters of Kine, the priestesses, guarded the place and maintained the rune. But my lord kept sending people there in hopes of opening a way back to the Black Fountain. Why did my lord want to open a way to the Black Fountain? Well, because he wants people to have a chance at reaching the Blue Star, of course, so that they too can have a chance at making their dreams come true. He's oh so kind. The black fountain is still in there, and everything the blue star gazes upon exists inside the time warped black fountain, and everything that is time warped is taken to the black fountain by Mnemoli. In that way, I guess you can say that it does have a purpose. Pelun, the remnants of Kind's garden, Sathal, and even some remnants of the sixth house have all ended up there. But as Jhunal's power was weakening, he fought my master in Hinnom one last time and won, and sealed most of my lord's influence at the cost of most of the strength he had left. After that, and for some time, a new equilibrium was formed. Jhunal was slowly healing, and the daughters of Kain were looking after the place, and everything that could harm time, and therefore Akatosh, ended up inside the Black Fountain, and there, inside Hinnom, it grew nicely. However, one of the daughters of Kain was unlike the others. Hamah was her name. Despite her being a daughter of Kain, she could never experience love. Perhaps this is because she used to be a snow elf. She was experimented on by Yelem and was discarded as dead after he and his assistant were done with her. But she survived, and a daughter of Kain saved her. Anem was her name. Anem took her to Vatim Hold after healing her and made her a priestess of Kain, just like her. Maybe it was the pain she felt during Yelem's twisted experiments that prevented her from feeling love. And so, one day, a man, a strangely average man, walked into Vatim Hold and fell in love with her. I feel like Haman never loved that man. No, she couldn't. But she saw in him an opportunity, and so they swore themselves to each other, something which the priests of Vatim Hold opposed. And so they imprisoned Haman, and the man, the hanged man, was banished from the forest. However, there was now a rift between Haman and the rest of the people that lived inside Vatim Hold. And so Hamah stole a red stone, a precious red drop, and with it she created something new, something she always wanted, a vessel that can only feel love. And she wanted to one day possess that vessel, or one of its children, so she can now know and experience love. And with that creature inside her, she escaped the forest and found the man, the hanged man again. But this time they had to go on the run, for the guardians of the forest wanted the treasure that was stolen from them on that day back. So the hanged man approached my master, the gardener, and asked him to conceal Haman's daughters until they were forgotten by all in name and in form, at which point Haman was supposed to take over and free herself from her misery that she ended up in, which was something the hangman did not know about. As far as he was concerned, he was just protecting his daughters, and as far as me, the woodland man, and our master were concerned, we were just helping a troubled couple. Hence why I still lurk in the bottom of this well. I am still a guardian of that deal. Jhunal was never a popular deity in the Nordic pantheon. The warlike Nords never really were big fans of the arts like wisdom and runes. And as I told you before, Jhunal needs to be believed to exist, and his power has been waning for a long time now. There will come a time, my friend, when you will kill the forgotten vessel and break the barrier he created and keep me and the bloodline of Haman in here. Then you will be all he has. Jabal is plotting to undo his remaining followers as we speak. There will be a time where only you will be keeping him alive. What will you do then, I wonder? You want my advice? Forget about him too. He gives awful advices. He never gives people what they really want, and he can never do much anyway. Let him be forgotten by you too, just as he was forgotten by his own people. Why is he protecting this place if my master and I are already guarding it? As I said already, the daughters of Haman still know who he is, meaning that he needs them too. In his own way, he is also protecting the rest of the world from being enchanted by the abominations of Haman and their curse. For all the love that Hamah's children may bring, they bring 10 times the suffering as well, just as Geralt or Brandt. Yes, Hamah never understood that love must be generated naturally, not created as a product of a spell, and that is exactly what Lenoa and Lelanoa are. Thanks to the power of the gemstone in Lenoa's guts, they can even change races if that would mean that people would love them more. Without the gemstone, they are hollow, blank. Maybe one day, when we're in Quagmire together, I will show you much more about this. Where is this gemstone now? Well, right now it's inside Lenoa. Soon, however, it will be outside Lenoa. Ugh. Not even me and Jhunal could have predicted that the Pipers would have come to exist and be involved in this matter. Who are the Pipers? I. I. I cannot answer that question, my friend. Genuinely. Yes, every time their story is worked into something completely different than the last, as if they are toying with us. Or maybe, yes, perhaps they cannot be fathomed by us. But if that is the case, if even my master cannot fathom them, this might be worse than I ever thought. Now I think they are. Yes, they are the survivors of the Clockwork City. Definitely. Sotasil knew so much after all. It is only natural that his great wisdom might rival even that of my lord. Wait, no. They are actually human manifestations of the Hist. Yes, indeed. Only the Hist could produce something so bizarre. I do not wish to think about them. Every thought is somehow something different, disturbing. Hopefully, they won't come after you, my wonderful, precious sixth chick. What makes you a chick? Well, you have what every creature in this world craves, not power, not strength, not a noble bloodline, and not a blessing. You have but a word. Maybe. Sofasil knew this better than anyone. He knew his death, he knew his life, but there was nothing he can do to stop it. He could never say maybe, not even in his death. Not even my master can say that. But you just might. The prisoner's fate is a grand thing, and you have come such a long way from Helgen. I am very proud of you. I believe that you can now see the chains of causality which led you here. The real question is, can you see the door that exists beyond causality? I hope that you can, and if you do, please show the door to the rest of us. Will you? Yes. When you stand on top of the blue star, please remember us. Hmm? Who are the other five chicks that came before you? Oh, such simple questions you ask, yet they are so difficult to answer. The first one was, admittedly, an anomaly. The anomaly. He, um, it, was the one who set in motion this entire story. He alerted my master, caused a tragedy, and maddened countless people, including the king of Enequina, Jabal, the fat cat, or at least that's what Jai would call him. In reality, he is not a cat. He is not a Khajiit. Now, listen closely as I tell you the story of Jabal, and if you have any questions by the end of it, then I just want to let you know, so do we all, even my master and Yelem. A long time ago, to the northeast of Enequina, there was a wonderful oasis. Its light was mirroring the light of the moon beautifully, and its water satisfied all the thirsty wanderers of ancient elsewhere. Perun was the name of the oasis, and it was a blessing hidden in the rusty sands of elsewhere. But one night, this peace was broken by the sound of a structure no one had ever seen before. A void ship. It had organs and only one passenger, Jabal. But Jabal was not only the passenger of the ship, in a way, he was the ship. But that is not yet the strangest thing about this event. The strangest thing about this event, about Jabal, is that he was composed of both Dunmer and his essence. And when he or the ship were cut, white, milk like substance poured from them. What follows next is open to interpretation, and the events resemble a fever dream more than a actual event that occurred. You see, Jabal was maddened. We are not sure why. Maybe it was the damage from the impact of landing. Maybe it was the interference of my lord. Maybe his existence was destined to madness. In truth, no one knows. Not even Apocrypha. Nor do we know how many Daedric lords saw and rushed to observe. But due to Jabal's madness, Sheogorath was there. He could never miss such a spectacle. Also, Azura appeared and scolded Jabal for his recklessness. But she was not seeing the truth. My lord, who came before both of them in search of knowledge unknown to even him, saw this and immediately understood. Jabal was not reckless. The haste cannot be reckless. The haste has never been reckless. It was desperate. And desperation for the haste can only mean desperation for the entirety of existence. But still, we had no idea where this void ship came from. Maybe from a different Kalpa, like the Yokurans, maybe from the abyss of Father Sithis, maybe it was from the remnants of Lake. But my master's questions about the origins of this ship, this creature, were answered quickly, and what happened next was almost enough to madden with knowledge even my lord. Jabal cut down both his hands. The milk-like substance, began pouring from them. He then rolled on the sand dunes 8 times as if he was grieving, and then muttered the following words. He said, "If only we could find the stars, we could jump for them and rejoice." And as he said that, the blue star appeared, Mnemoli, the omen of the untimely. And then everything became dark, and everyone, people, cats, and eadra, were uncertain of what was happening. Everyone except Jabal, who began dancing while the land was being engulfed by the darkness that came with Mnemoli's appearance. It was at that moment, upon gazing the blue star and observing this scene, that my master understood the fundamental origins of Jabal and why he had gone mad, and why Mnemoli accompanied him, and why he crashed in his recklessness. He was fleeing from our very own future. Yes, fleeing the end of the world, and not the world of a previous Kalpa or a distant land. No, he was from our future, hence why he had both Dwemer and haste in his essence. He had come to warn us, but he lost himself in the madness and could only talk to us through what seemed like absurd acts and symbolic language. You probably read the roly-poly books in Coldharbour, have you not? Well, at that point my master knew what had to be done. He had to either find a way to jump on the blue star, or find someone who could and show him the way, and Jabal was his first attempt. It was, however, a short-lived one. Upon seeing the darkness, the king of Enekuna made his way to Perun and to Jabal. The king was horrified of the blue star, and so he begged Hersin to replace it with his own, Red Moon, and to begin a blood hunt. And Hersin listened to him, and per the king's wish, he asked Hersin to kill everyone led astray by Jabal's maddening dance in Perun on that night. And when the king personally found the one responsible for this great trouble, Jabal, that is, he beheaded him on sight with his greatsword. But then Sheogorath, in his laughing spree, distracted the king by saying, "The unknown star child has died. You will become unknown. This will also become unknown." And just like that, in the blink of an eye, Jabal disappeared, and the king, for some reason, drank the spilled milk that came from him, and thus he contracted Jabal's madness. We do not know why the king did that, nor do we know what the milk truly is. It seems to be from the haste side of Jabal, though. I am getting the feeling that Shio knew more than he was letting on, because everything was forgotten by mortals. And no one questioned when Yelem, accompanied by his assistant, asked to build a new city near the oasis. That city came to be known as Pelun. Unfortunately, that city would know the blue moon again. After Hersin came to pick his price for the people he helped by hiding the blue moon, and soon a plague was turning people into beasts, who were killed and pelted by cheek traders and hunters of Hersin. At the sight of this absurdity, the Elysian Order, yes, the one you saw in Coldharbour, invaded Pelun, probably to provide mercy killing and contain the plague by killing off the infected. And then Nemoli appeared again, and Pelun now exists inside the Black Fountain. You will go there someday, and when you do, please help the people there. They did nothing wrong. But that was not the end for Jabal. Oh no 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 no. You see, while the king was still maddened, Jai the cleric took his head and placed it outside the temple of Enequina and had it guarded day and night from everyone but himself. But for 3 days the head talked to him and told him a terrible tale, a story about, yes, eggs, and chicks and chickens, and male and female variants of those things. I don't understand what Jai understood. My master is struggling to understand it as well, so I think Jai did not understand what Jabal was saying, but he felt it. Yes, it must be. Jai felt the danger in his blood. Jai understood the danger a male chick can bring. You see, an egg is a possibility for a chick to be born. A chick is, well, someone like you and the other 5. You are that maybe, that which can stand upon the blue star. But if a male chick were to become a chicken, I don't know what would happen. I don't think anyone does. So please, don't become that chicken. Be a good chick. But upon feeling the danger, Jai ordered all the children that were born in the last 3 lunar cycles to be killed to avoid the possibility of such a chick ever hatching and gaining power. To do that, the king's royal guard and even one of the sons the king had with one of his lowly concubines, Jacobe was his name, were recruited into a new organization, the Chick Traders. Yes, this was the beginning of the original Chick Traders. Yelem then found Jabal in a rift after Jai discarded him, but Jabal did not allow Yelem to peek into his head. But they still hope to use it to gain some kind of information and hopefully build some kind of machine to ascend beyond this plane to a different one. I must admit, I do not understand much about this machine. You ask, where is the king of Enequina and Jabal now? Well, the king is still dancing in his harvest festival under the blue star, hoping to stand on top of it, just like Jabal did. Ironic how he became worse than the very thing he beheaded, though just by seeing him now you would never guess that he was once a Khajiit. He is without his fur, and he is blue. After Jabal was beheaded by the king, he was largely thrown into oblivion. Only a whisper of him survived, and that whisper now contains a blood curse. Now he is also inside the Black Fountain, waiting for, I believe, you. My little dragon, I told you, one question can have a much bigger answer than expected. So, do you still want to hear about the other 4? Well, then, the second chick was Jhunal the Grey. I was not the one who found this one, and Jhunal isn't his real name. Orlando sometimes works in strange ways to snatch a boy from Southall. You might think that Orlando saved this child, but make no mistake, only his grandma and his 2 sons survived the night of tears. The boy ceased to exist that night, as if it never really mattered. All that mattered was its dream, to become a dragon. What a sweet, wonderful little dream. It has, however, become by all metrics a total nightmare. I am guessing that Orlando wanted this child to relieve himself of his service to my lord. In truth, Orlando was the first Grey Owl. He was a wise mage from Admora, fascinated by, yes, dragons, and the power that comes with mastering the arcane arts. So my master approached him while imitating Jhunal and offered him immortality in exchange for eternal servitude, and Orlando accepted. Little, however, did he know that by that point my lord had already been stealing Jhunal's identity. After all, my lord is so much better than him in every way. I think he was hoping to give the boy his role, his identity, but in reality he just gave us the second chick. After that, Jhunal, the now Grey Owl, stole a secret of Magnus from Southall and then went his own way. And we haven't communicated with him since, but we were always observing him. But his experiments, his methods, and his disrespect of the old ways made him hated with the lords of old, and so he fled Skyrim. I believe that you know how the story went from there. He then joined the Elysians, refused to share his arcana with them, and got exiled and died after he was betrayed by the Black Worm, Minimarco. He then ended up in Coldharbour, or at least the remnants of him did, and his disciple Cosmas used his arcana to burn down Malada and Pelun. What you probably don't know is that Jhunal could not be killed so easily. In death, he yet lives. This is the power of his dream, and through that power, he has given birth to a dream realm. Unslaad, I believe it is called. Yes, Unslaad. The dream of Admora, the unending, just like his dream. What do I mean by this? Let me tell you one of Yelem's discoveries. Hopefully, you will understand then. Yelem had this idea, this theory, about dreams without dreamers. This idea began when he contemplated exactly how and why the snow elves became the Falmer. His proposition was that the snow elves lost more than their sight, more than the sun, and more than their beauty, and that which actually turned them feral, more than anything, was the myth. Yelem understood that perception defines reality. Thus, when they lost even the most primitive way of perceiving the world, the myth, they lost their reality. My friend, reality does not exist to those who cannot perceive it. It only exists if it can be perceived. Everything is a hallucination created by perception, my little chick. A dream. That is what reality is. Nothing more. Jhunal the Grey, after he was killed by Minimarco, continued to follow his dream. It prevented his soul from dying and reaching either Aetherius or Apocrypha. Instead, it created an entirely new afterlife, one where there is still life, all shaped by the myth created by Jhunal the Grey, a dream of Admora, a place where he can hopefully become a dragon. It is so very wonderful. It is a place where all dreamers may go to complete their dreams after death. Jacob and Aisha are there, but it seems that they have lost their memories. Perhaps that's for the best. Because it is a dream, I believe that Arkved must be there as well. Ah, silly little Arkved. To steal from a eadra, and the Orb of Vermina, no less. After he stole it, he could not handle it. Now he's stuck in between the waking world and the sleeping world, only existing in other people's dreams, but never able to have his own. And Unslaad is, as I said already, a dream of Admora. Oh, how Orlando must crave to go there, even for a moment, but I doubt my master will ever let him. As for the Admorans themselves, they too have become dreamers. They and the dragons have died in the thick ice of Admora, and are now dreaming of their home, before it was taken over by the ice. But the ice of nostalgia only grows thicker with those thoughts. Isgramor told them the same thing, but they did not listen. They even sacrificed a maiden of the land, hoping to stop the cold, but their pleadings went unheeded, and now that maiden walks around Unslaad as well. She has a daughter too. Not unlike you, actually. Yes, one of Jhunal the Grey's experiments that almost succeeded. Almost. You see, the girl began losing her form and became more and more dragon-like with every day, and her mother, Ostella, made a doll to hopefully keep her stable. But even she knows that her child is on borrowed time. I'm guessing this is what turned her mad in the end. Please, if you ever end up in that place, treat the doll well, and do not go inside the basement where Jhunal the Grey experimented on various test subjects to fulfill his dream. Otherwise he will drag you into his nightmare. He covets you, little dragon. You are what he always wanted, after all. Please, fulfill his wish. Fulfilling his dream is impossible, even for my lord. Only Akatosh can grant such a boon. But you can at least make his wish a reality. And maybe, just maybe, you will discover something about yourself along the way. I see that the stories of my previous chicks have puzzled you. We, the owls, can only show you different ways to reach your deepest desire. We cannot fulfill them for you. The path is one you must walk on your own, but nor are we deluders of people who take advantage of their ignorance. Jhunal the Grey got what he wanted, because that is the only way that he could even come close to fulfilling his dream. The third chick, Yelem of Arkham proves what I am telling you now. I already told you a lot about Yelem, actually, but that is because there is simply so much to say about him. He was a Dwemer, isn't that rare? But what is even rarer is that even amongst the Dwemer, he was exceptional. This is what attracted me to him. Unlike Kagranak, he did not believe that the new medium was the true method of transformation. Instead, he advocated for inner change. He was even aware of the danger that lurked within Kagranak's idea, but they did not listen to him. He thought that the body can work as a nursery for a new being. Instead, they deemed his experiments too blasphemous, and so they exiled him. Now that I think about it, I believe that it was perhaps my influence that shaped his ideas. I showed him Hinnom and told him to jump so he can reach the Black Fountain. There, at the very bottom, he and his assistant found Laza, dreaming at a lightning speed. Oh yes, he has a brilliant assistant. Orlando brought them together after all, and together they even found Jabal, as I already told you. How did they both escape the end of the Dwemer? Oh, I thought you would understand by now. Same way as Yagr and Bagan survived it. They weren't on Nern at the time of Kagranak's failure. They were in the Black Fountain. Mnemoni's influence cares little about what happens on Nern. After he found Jabal and built Pelun near the side of the void ship, he began to grow more and more unstable. He kept Hamah as a test subject, and not even I understand why. What I do know is that he attempted to build a machine, an abomination. It was shaped like an insect, like a bug. It was it was shaped like a scarab, and it was I must admit that I cannot think clearly about it. I doubt any sane creature can. Perhaps it was this madness that led Yelem to cannibalize himself. Yes, he cannibalized himself. He terminated all maybes that existed within his future, but even then he could not reach the blue star. But still, I cannot consider him a failure. He showed me so many wonderful things, after all. The only chick who showed me something even more important than what Yelem showed me was of course my precious fourth chick, Laza. But you already know everything about him. His story is too interlinked with the stories of everyone else. Is there anything else you would like to ask about Laza? What is his sorrow? My little dragon, you always ask the most beautiful questions. Did you know that? Nostalgia. His sorrow is nostalgia for simpler times. He misses his sister. He misses the green pastures. If only they had not offered help to the bar and LeMay. So simple is the mind of a shepherd, it seems. Oh, and the final chick before you, Giselle. Yes, Orlando brought me this one too. Oh, but I see you already know his story, or at least the beginnings of it. What do I mean? But you have already read The Stray Cat of Coral, haven't you? Poor Jazeri. Who would know that one day his own shadow would be given a new head and become a fake chick trader? Yes, I already told you. Jacoba was the last chick trader of Volt and Equina. Giselle and the others are just mimics, with the same goal as the original chick traders, that is, but still different. He is searching for his perfect little chick, and when he finds it, he will feed it until it grows bloodthirsty and strong, and then it will unleash it on us. That was his last wish, to find a perfect little chick which he can use to stop us. I do not blame him for this. Even more wonderful, through this process he is also helping us, and we will help him. Who is the perfect little chick he's looking for? I believe I am talking to it right now. The children he doesn't sell into slavery, he takes into Hinnom and turns them into witch hunters. And there he lies to them, telling them that if they kill the witches, the daughters of Cain, they can take their drops and finally be free from Laza's blood curse. Such nonsense. The curse is weak enough as it is. It can be defeated simply by retiring and becoming a fisher. But that certainly did not stop Laza, nor does it stop the witch hunters, nor will it stop you. But be careful. Giselle will love you, but the eyes of Hinnom do not care about you. They only crave what was taken from them, and they only seek revenge upon those who took it from them, and their blasphemous bloodline. The eyes of Hinnom are a sentient residue of the black pus that was used to seal the wounding of Cain. In that way, they are what little remains of the old garden and the fountain of Cain. So do not attack Giselle, not until the rift opens again, and you too gaze upon the blue star. Not even I will be able to influence you there. But for now, that is all. Have I satisfied your curiosity, my little Dova? Shush! No need to speak so loudly. You're gonna wake up the daughter of Hamah. Why do you think I've been whispering all this time? She has been crying, you know, every night ever since her parents left her. Please, give her some bread tomorrow. She will be outside the gate of Falkirk. I doubt Brant will let her enter the city with Jabal coming tomorrow. Yes, a lot of strange things are happening in Falkirk lately. I'm sure you will notice. The Thalmor have found Yelem studies and they are using them to make new weapons and mutated animals. At the same time, ghouls of Namira and beasts of Hersin are roaming the roads, but I am sure that it is nothing you and Brant can deal with. Now sleep, my friend. Sleep and forget. I will teleport you back to the inn in Falkirk, and from there you can take the only path you can take from that point onward. But for now you must sleep. Sleep and forget. That's for the best. Oh, what book am I holding? Well, this is the tale of Polydor and Eloisa, of course. Yes, only a truly terrible bard could admire such a ghastly work of literature. Would you like me to read it to you? Alright then, you just sit back and sleep. And remember, the nightmares you see in your dreams are nothing even close to the ones you see in your waking dreams. So sleep peacefully and forget. You have no other choice right now. Polydor was an elf prince, and not just any prince, but the son of the richest and most terrible king who once ruled over these lands. This old king owned 100 gold mines and 100 silver mines, and he bathed every night in gold dust. And this king was so terrible that after she gave birth to their son, his own wife moved all the way to the icy wastes of Jordan to avoid him. The king's serfs, though, could not run away from him like she did. They worked in the fields and in the castle, and if they displeased the king, they were sent to the dangerous mine, digging up ore for their king's hoard. Polydor must have taken after his mother, for he was unlike his father, as day is on tonight. The gold-haired boy was sweet-tempered and generous to all the servants who loved him back, as if he was their own child. He was a particular favorite of the castle's cook, a widow with a small girl of her own, named Eloisa. Of all the pretty children in this kingdom, Eloisa was the prettiest. Her skin was pearly white, her hair was black as the midnight sky, and her eyes were blue as violets. She was a very good girl and a obedient daughter who never neglected her chores. Eloisa and Polydor were playmates through childhood, and as they grew into adulthood, love blossomed between the two. But this still happened long, long ago, when the elves and humans were to never, ever fall in love and have children together. So these two lovers were quite the predicament. There was no way Polydor's father would ever accept Eloisa as a fitting partner for his son, and Eloisa's mother warned her that if she were to give her heart to the young prince, it would end in grief. But she was so deeply in love that she ignored her mother's advice. She would only have Polydor and no one else. And so too, he would have only Eloisa. Now, Polydor's father, being a mind to expand his treasure hoard, had arranged for him to marry a elf princess that had 30 rupee mines and 20 emerald mines. This rich young lady was beautiful but cruel, and Polydor was resolved not to marry her. He and Eloisa planned to run away from the kingdom, to find a place where they could marry and live happily ever after, no matter how poor they would be. The two lovers couldn't be seen living in the castle together, so they decided that Eloisa would live first and journey down the road to the inn where she would wait Polydor to join her. To pay for her stay in the inn, her lover gave her a small gold nugget that he had taken from his father's hoard. She would leave that morning, and he promised to join her by midnight. Eloisa packed her very little belongings in a small bag and set out upon the road. She walked and walked, and as the day wore on, the weather turned ugly. It began to rain. Then the rain turned into sleet, and the sleet to snow. When she came to the inn, it was a full blizzard, and Eloisa was nearly frozen to the bone. She knocked on the door to the inn, and the innkeeper opened the door up to only a crack. "What do you want?" the innkeeper asked. "A room for the night," Eloisa told the woman. "Can you pay for it?" the innkeeper asked. Eloisa pulled the gold nugget out of her pocket to show the woman, but when she held the nugget to the light, she saw that it was not gold, but a worthless grey stone. The innkeeper accused the poor girl of trying to swindle her, and refused to let her stay another moment. No matter how much Eloisa cried and pleaded, it was no good. The innkeeper drove Eloisa onto the snow. This was very pleasing for the lady already staying in the inn. The cruel elf princess was sitting inside by the fire when her handmaiden came to tell her of the news that Eloisa was turned away. This handmaiden had overheard Polydor and Eloisa planning to escape the castle and had immediately gone to tell the princess and Polydor's father. Those two had hatched a plan between them to separate the lovers. The king had enchanted an ordinary rock to look like gold and had one of his men switch it for Eloisa's nugget. The princess had gone ahead to the inn to await Polydor's arrival. Polydor rode up to the inn late that night, just like he promised. He asked the innkeeper if his lover was waiting for him, and she said yes. The young lady was at the room at the end of the hall. The room was pitch dark, so he was about to cast a light spell, but the false princess complained that she had a bad headache and could not abide by any light. She told him to come to bed, and so he did, and at last they fell asleep together. He woke up in the middle of the night. It was still pitch dark, yet somehow he saw Eloisa standing by the bed. Snowflakes covered her hair. Her cherry red lips were blue, and frost lay heavy upon her clothes. "My love, I am already gone for a few hours, and you are already with another," she said. She sounded so sad and weary. He sat upon to reach her, but his hand touched only air. Eloisa was gone. Trembling, he cast a spell of starlight and looked upon the woman lying beside him. When he saw that it was the elf princess, he cried out in rage and in horror. The princess laughed at him. She was sure that he would marry her now. She had her witnesses standing outside the door. He paid her no heed, but fled from the room and her false embrace. He rushed out into the snow to find Eloisa, and was never again seen alive upon the green grass of Nern. The serfs found the frozen bodies of the two lovers early the next morning. Eloisa laid in Polydor's arms. They were carried back to the castle on a shared bier. When the king saw his son's body, his anger was almost as great as his grief. How dare they carry his son's body through the town along with that of the servant girls? He ordered his guard to remove Eloisa's body, but they discovered that they could not move her from her lover's arms. Then the king, in his rage, tried to pull Eloisa himself, and when he found out that he could not do it, he turned purple and fell down upon the ground and died. And much good did all the treasures of gold and silver do to him then. The castle's priestess of Amur knew a divine sign when she saw one. She insisted that Polydor and Eloisa be buried together as husband and wife, and so, in death, these lovers were united for eternity in Amur's blessed mercy. Yes, how wonderful, truly. All of this has and will be just for you, my little dragon. So please, remember our kindness, will you?